Hello everyone and welcome to WW What Was for the week of June 27th to July 1st. I'm going to take you through the week in WWE, through the three big shows, and give you three big things. We're going to start first with the big news on Raw, and this is actually some big out-of-the-ring news. This was the first Raw to ever appear in China. Well, not actually in China, it'll appear on Chinese television. This is big news. I know usually you don't want to hear about kind of businessy side of things, but with the WWE expanding into China, and more specifically mainland China, this is a big deal. You're seeing a lot of entertainment make their ways towards China and kind of focus on that Chinese market. It's going to be interesting to see how this kind of affects the in-ring product, being as the Chinese government has several bans on the kind of content that can be shown to the public. Who knows, this may have nothing, or Bray Wyatt may not be allowed to enter China, and he can join the likes of Lady Gaga and others, and I'm pretty sure WWE moving into China rules out the fact that Dalai Lama could ever be the guest Raw general manager. The next big thing I took away from Raw was the mid-card championship matches. Now, I was juggling whether to put down the Wyatts and the New Day segment as a big thing, but what they did this week with the mid-card championships really irked me more. You had Titus O'Neil go against Rusev in a non-title match, which, according to JBL, this was the biggest win of Titus's career. He won by countout after Rusev couldn't get back in the ring. It's kind of a deflating ending and really doesn't help either guy. And then you had the return of The Miz from his movie shoot of Marine 5 Battleground, which they said thousands upon thousands of times. I've begun to hate Marine 5 Battleground. I haven't even seen the movie. I'm never going to see the movie because most of the WWE movies suck. But Miz came back and then he was revealed he was going to have a surprise opponent. It turned out to be Kane, and I'm not going to call him Demon Kane because that's stupid. But he had a match with Kane. It was actually a pretty good match. Kane looked like kind of a monster. Miz looked good. But it ended by countout when Maurice fell off the apron and Miz took her to the back. And then she was acting. The whole thing, it left a bad taste in my mouth and is really giving me cause for concern that I don't trust, rather, that these guys know what they're doing. If and when we move to the brand split, and each championship is on one show, I don't think it's going to get better. I think it can only get worse. And the final big thing we can take away from Raw was the elephant in the room. What were they going to do about Roman Reigns? Seth Rollins opened the night addressing it. Classy, actually well done by WWE to not try and sweep this under the rug. Good on that. The way they then proceeded to handle it sucked. We had Dean Ambrose come out and your face champion defended another face who had been suspended for violating the wellness policy. That's a great message to send to kids. Do the crime and then do the time. I don't know, it was weird, it made no sense. But then things picked up. We had AJ come out saying, well, Roman should be out and I should be in the match. Yeah, to which the crowd went crazy. I yayed. Then John Cena came out and said, we should make it a fatal 5-way because we can't kick Roman out of this match for some reason. Again, everyone went, yay. And Stephanie came out and said, I like the idea, and now we're going to have matches to see if you guys can get in the match. First up, Seth faced off against John Cena. If John Cena won, he'd be in the match. The status quo is God. That's all I can say for this. AJ and the club came out and distracted Cena. Seth won. Then later in the night, Dean Ambrose went against AJ Styles. If AJ won, he'd be in the match. The status quo was God. John Cena came out, distracted AJ. Dean won. So, where we started at the night addressing that, hey, we shouldn't be having this triple threat with one guy suspended. It should be one-on-one. No, it should be with AJ in it. No, it should have AJ and John Cena in it. We end, it's still a triple threat with the guy who is suspended. Sucks. But that was Raw. But now we move to a palate cleanse. That is the wonder and glory that is NXT. And NXT did give us some great stuff this week. First, we had the exclusive comments, which is a weird way to put it, piping up Nakamura versus Balor. Both Nakamura and Balor hit kind of along the same lines. I've known this guy for many years. We know each other's families. We have to beat each other to prove who's better. It's simple. It's good. I can get into it. It doesn't make my head hurt. And neither guy is suspended. Although, with this being kind of the prominent feud going right now, I do have to wonder what they're going to do with Samoa Joe. He hasn't actually been seen on TV past couple weeks, besides in vignettes. I do officially think the Balor-Nakamura thing is going to lead to a build with Nakamura and Joe for the title, but I'm not sure. But until then, we get to enjoy the idea of Balor and Nakamura and how great that match is going to be. Then in one of two championship directions we kind of saw where the winds are blowing of who's going to be the number one contender, the women's division started to shake out, with Alexa Bliss taking on Carmella and actually beating her, which was a surprise, but I have to say, I do like Alexa Bliss. And that led to a backstage segment with Bliss and Bayley, where Bliss, playing a full-blown, blonde, beautiful heel, said, "You don't get the title unless you go through me." Then the match was set for Bayley and Bliss next week. This isn't officially a number one contenders match, but I think that's how it's kind of being treated. I do think Bayley will probably win, so we can have Bayley Asuka too. Or they may save that for a later build for Brooklyn. I don't know. But all in all, good job by Bliss. And then finally, to round out the night on NXT, we got some news where the tag team division is going. We had Ciampa and Gargano, who really need a tag team name. Just something, I don't care if it's Johnny Wrestling Psycho Killers, just something other than Gargano and Ciampa. I like it when tag teams actually have names. I don't like it when it's just the two guys. Well, they beat the Hype Bros. That led to Gargano getting on the mic saying, "We beat Revival before they won the titles. We should be the number one contenders." And that gave us the return of American Alpha. American Alpha said, "Hey, you're behind us, and you're going to be challenging us for the titles if you get a shot." The Revival came out and said, "We don't think either one of you get a shot." Regal then came down and, like only Regal can do, set everyone straight and told them, "Well, Gargano and Ciampa, you do get a shot down the road, but next week we're going to figure out who's the A-team in NXT by having a 2 out of 3 falls match between American Alpha and Revival." And my God, I am excited for this. I've liked both the Revival and Alpha matches that I've had previously. I think this could beat both what they did at Dallas and at the end. I think it'll be great, but I'm worried that how it's going to end is with American Alpha losing so they can go take on the Authors of Pain. I think the Revival are going to keep this second reign going for a while. But again, NXT is just great. Now to end your WWE week, we had Smackdown, and Smackdown did something surprising. They actually booked a title right, a mid-card title to be specific. Before the even opening scroll of the show popped up, Mauro Ranallo came over and said, "We're going to be having a fatal four-way to determine the number one contender for the U.S. title. That person is then going to take on Rusev that night." Wow, this is exciting. This makes sense. It was a fatal four-way between Cesaro, Sheamus, Apollo Crews, and Del Rio, with Cesaro winning with the sharpshooter, which I think makes him the only guy to consistently win matches with that move since Bret Hart. Or since ever. But Cesaro made Del Rio tap out. Del Rio then, after the match, took out Cesaro, hitting him with the foot stomp thing from the apron. It looked vicious, but it is still kind of stupid. Then immediately Rusev came out and said, if you're the Superman, you will fight me now." Cesaro, being the gutsy performer he did, went in, had the match with Rusev, but because he wasn't at 100%, his ribs hurt the entire match. He sold it well. The storytelling made sense. Rusev won. It was just so surprising how much sense this all made. And it was so good, it was easy to follow, but it wasn't insulting. The insulting part came afterwards, when Renee Young interviewed Rusev, and we were informed that Rusev will be facing Titus O'Neil for the U.S. title on the July 4th Raw. Why? Make Titus win a number one contenders match if you want him to be seen as a credible threat. I'm lumping Titus in with the Jack Swagger camp of, you've been here for so long, why aren't you better? Also, SmackDown crowd, why were you chanting USA when it was a Swiss man versus a Bulgarian? Oh, I'm beginning to think USA has just become an anti-Rusev chant, which is weird. But anyway, good job SmackDown on booking the championship well. Bad form WWE by giving Titus another shot. But all that SmackDown booked this week wasn't gold. We did see this week on both SmackDown and Raw a return to an old concept. We had squash matches again. For those of you who don't know, a squash match is where a superstar will come out and absolutely destroy enhancement talent. It's an old tactic. It was designed mostly to get guys over so you'd come see them at house shows. Now, with everything being able to be watched by everybody, it makes less and less sense. The last real time they used this was trying to get Ryback over, but on Raw they had Enzo and Cass in a squash match. Sucked. This week they had two squash matches, one which was used to horrid effect. One was actually used pretty good effect. The one that was used to horrid effect involves my personal favorite blonde moron, Dana Brooke. Oh, Dana, how much I do not like you as a wrestler. Dana came out and had a match with Billie Kay. Now, I watch NXT a lot, and I've seen Billie Kay a lot. Billie Kay, you looked awesome. You are too good for this. You should have Dana's spot. The kind of arm trap bridge suplex you did, fantastic. Go down to NXT, learn some more, get better, and then come back up and rule. Dana, you on the other hand, you suck. You cannot do the simplest thing, right? You are an Oompa Loompa looking thing. Get off my TV, go back to NXT, get better, or get out. Now, that all being said, on SmackDown, we did have a actual good use of a squash match. When the Wyatt family came out and absolutely smashed two jobbers. Strowman and Rowan took on the team of a Leonidas-looking guy and some other guy, and they smashed him in two moves. A full Nelson Slam from Rowan, and I don't know what you could call this other than Strowman picking the guy up and slamming him on top of the other guy. Then getting the pin, it made the Wyatts look beastly. It was a good use of a squash. Do this sparingly, and it looks great. You do it every week like you did with Ryback, it looks like garbage. Rage over. The final thing we have from SmackDown is Dean Ambrose on Miz TV, which eventually turned into Miz TV versus the Ambrose Asylum, which eventually turned into the Miz versus Dean Ambrose, which actually turned into a good main event. On Miz TV, Ambrose was eating a sandwich the entire time, completely making fun of this ridiculous nature that is these talk shows they have in WWE, and actually at one point wiping his mouth with Miz's jacket. That led to their match, and I have to say, Dean Ambrose champion, I'm liking. He's taking it very along the lines that Seth Rollins did, guys like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan did, where they're going out there, and no matter who they're in the ring with, they're trying to have the best match of the night because they're the champion and it's expected of them. Match was good, Miz looked good, Dean looked great, actually left me excited after all the rage that the squash matches introduced. All in all, this was a good week in WWE. Pretty much, there was a few things I would like change, but, NXT keeps making me happy. I want them to suss something out with the Roman suspension. But, until next week, that WW What Was This Week.